Okay, this video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of measurement, and more specifically we look at area.
So what is area? Well, essentially area is the space inside a shape, and this is measured in units squared, so all the units will be to the power of 2. Depending on what shape you're looking at, every area has a different formula that we use. For example, if we're looking at the area of a square or a rectangle, okay, they use the formula area equals length times width. Now obviously the length is the longest side, as we can see here, and the width is the other side, okay, which is perpendicular. Perpendicular meaning they meet at right angles. Okay, so the width is perpendicular to the length, and the length is the longest side. So let's have a look at an example. We have a blue rectangle here with a length of 8 centimeters and a width of 5 centimeters. The area of this rectangle is the length times by the width, or multiplied by the width. So in this particular case, the length is 8 centimeters and the width is 5 centimeters. So therefore the total area is 40 centimeters squared. So another shape that you might come across is a triangle. Now remember that the area of a triangle is measured by multiplying the base and the height and then dividing your answer by 2. Alright, or multiplying your answer by half, which is the same as dividing by 2. An example, let's have a look at this triangle down here. The area of a triangle is half the base, which is 17, times by our height, which is 5. Now 17 times 5 is going to be 85, so this is going to be a half times 85, which is exactly the same as 85 divided by 2. So therefore our area is going to equal 42.5 centimeters squared. Now sometimes you might be asked to calculate the area of a parallelogram. Now the area of a parallelogram is measured by multiplying our base by our perpendicular height. Okay, so our perpendicular height means that the height that makes a right angle to our base. Okay, and that's given by this formula over here. So if we're going to look at our example, which is this one here, the area is equal to our base, which in this particular case is 5 centimeters, multiplied by our perpendicular height, which is 3 centimeters. And that's going to give us an answer of 15 centimeters squared. Now another shape that you may be asked to find the area of is a kite. And this is measured by multiplying the lengths of the diagonals, but then we need to divide them by 2. And the length of the diagonals are this length multiplied by that length. Alright, so if we're going to look at our example, here's our kite. The area of a kite is 7 multiplied by 10, all divided by 2, which is going to be 70 divided by 2. So our area is going to give us an answer of 35 meters squared. Okay, so the second to last shape we're going to look at is a trapezium. Now the area of a trapezium is measured by adding the top and the bottom lengths and dividing your answer by 2, so basically finding the average of the top and the bottom lengths and then multiplying that answer by the height. Alright, and that is given by this box here. So if we look at our example, the area is equal to 11.2 plus 12.8, because that's the top and the bottom, all divided by 2 times by 6. Now 11.2 plus 12.8 gives me 24 divided by 2 times by 6, which is actually 12 times by 6. So that's going to give me 72 centimeters squared. Now the last shape we're going to look at is the area of a circle. Now the area of a circle is found by multiplying pi by the radius squared. Now remember that the radius is the distance from the middle to the outside. Alright, I'm going to use our example over here to work it out. So the area is equal to pi r squared. In this particular case, this is the length of the diameter, and we know the radius is half of that, so our radius is going to be 5. So then the area is going to be pi times by 5 squared. The area is going to be approximately 78 meters squared. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is have a go at some practice questions. Please feel free to pause the video. Once you think you've got the right answers, continue the video and we'll go through the answers and see how you went. Okay, so let's see how you went. So the area of a square is length times width. Now a square, the length and the width happen to be the same thing. So the area would be 6 times 6, which would give you an answer of 36 meters squared. The area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So the area would be 10 times 7 divided by 2, which is actually 70 divided by 2, which gives me 35 meters squared. The area of a parallelogram is base times perpendicular height. So the area would be 4 times 3, which will give me 12 meters squared. The area of a kite is you multiply the diagonals and then divide your answer by 2. So the area would be 10 times 6 all over 2. Therefore the area would equal 30 meters squared. The area of a trapezium with a top length of 5, a bottom length of 6 and a height of 8 meters is equal to 5 plus 6 all over 2, and then you multiply your answer by 8. The area would give me, the area total would be 44 meters squared. And the last question, what is the area of a circle with a radius of 6 centimeters? Well, remember 6 meters. Well, remember the area is pi times r squared, which in this particular case is going to give me approximately 113.1 meters squared, because remember that our radius is 6